Hello.
Yeah, hello. What's going on?
So, as you know, this is the AOK podcast, Acts of Kindness podcast. And here we go. All right.
No, just like I said, just get about 10
Wait,
inches
wait.
away from it.
I mean, the problem is that it's kind of low, but let me see. Maybe if I put it
Then just bring your
higher.
mic up.
How's that sound? Better?
No,
Really?
sounds worse.
Right here?
Talk a little
Hello?
bit. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, you definitely
Testing
need to bring
one,
it.
two, three.
That's too close.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Come a little closer.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Perfect. That's where it needs to be.
Fuck, I'm too close. It didn't work like this before.
That's like
Oh no.
perfect right there.
Hello. 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 That's
Yeah,
perfect.
yes, it keeps you in the yellow.
Fuck. All right, let me get something that I could stand on.
That's what she said. Good. Now he's gone. Now we can actually get into this whole damn show. Hi, my name's Ian. That's Gabe. Sometimes we play a little game called I'm Ready and He's Not. And god dang it, here we are playing a game of that. Gabe Castro. He doesn't care. You know why? Because he's A-OK. He's in the background singing. He's got a pot that he's gonna put all.
Song goes.
Here he
Here
comes.
I am. Watch me sing. Welcome to the AOK
That's perfect.
podcast. That's good.
Yeah, you know what? We got to record that voice, that
Let it
golden
go.
voice.
Let it go.
Got to put the headphones on, or at least have one off.
I'm like this. Here
Exactly.
I am. Getting like really into it.
It's perfect. That's
All
perfect.
right. So we're ready to rock and roll then, right?
2 minutes
Good.
later.
All right. You know what?
Uh-oh.
All right. So there's a couple topics I
All
might
right.
want to talk about. And I was talking with my wife in the car, and she was just not cool with the topic. Okay. And it kind of busted my balls a little bit about it because I thought she would understand where I'm coming from, and apparently not. All right. So somebody got stuck at a Disneyland parking lot, or they usually park overnight. And that parking overnight, they usually don't get charged, I guess, right? So then they park for a month straight there at Disneyland. And parking a month straight ended up costing them $1,700. That's pretty noble of them. To really test that motive out. Like, how much will they really charge me? What's the overnight stay? Well, 30 days, ladies and gentlemen, is $1,700 and 1716 if you really want to get down to it. So someone kind of mentioned, well, they had a story of one time that there was somebody in front of them that was arguing with the parking attendant. And that parking attendant was really like, man, they were really rude to me. And so the person was just like, man, that's not fair. That's not cool that they were being rude to you because they didn't want to pay the fee. And they spent like a whole bunch of money, I guess, there shopping, right? So they could have paid the small fee, whatever it was. And, sympathize with the person saying, that's not fair. It's not like you make the rules for this parking lot. What can you do? The person and parking attendant ends up saying, you know what, man? You have a good rest of your day. No charge. So at the end of the day, the person really does kind of, has the authority to say who gets to pay what and who gets to not. So why would my whole thing was with when it comes back to kindness, why would you want to put up with that bullshit? Why, as a parking attendant, would you want to be like, oh, I'm really gonna try and stick it to this lady? They're arguing with me. She's being a bitch, and I'm gonna put it. I gotta put her in her place, right? Because I'm the parking attendant. Why not just, what? I'm not gonna put up with this today. Have a great day.
Guess it's the battle of the argument, the fight.
The principle.
Who wants to put up the fight? Because one side's going to say the rules. Clearly, you could see everything's in there is on the signs everywhere, posted. When you to get your ticket, it says this is how much you could charge per hour, per day, so on. So that's black and white. It's pretty simple. But then you have the other side too. I didn't know my car was over here. My boyfriend had it, and we just broke up, and then he told me to go, and I've been searching for it. I've called the police and everything. So that could be the other side of it too. So you could play the sympathy card. But reality is, hey, it is what it is. Is this your car? Do you want to get your car out of here? Well, then you need to pay that large amount of money because that is your
Mhm.
car. That's your property. So it's very transactional. So if it ever went to court, well, obviously they're going to win,
Yeah,
the parking companies. So
exactly. They're gonna be like, "Well, you were parked there and you saw the sign, right?" But my wife didn't think that would be a good conversation for an Acts of Kindness podcast, and I kinda
hmm,
wanted to get your thoughts on that for a second because for me, I feel like I understand the assignment because I wrote the assignment, right? But the fact that couldn't understand where I was coming from with it, of like, how is it not a kindness conversation? Because she even mentioned, I was talking to her in the car, I'm like, what are your thoughts on that? She said, well, I don't think it's really a topic. I think you're deviating from kindness. I was like, well, how does it have to do how does it deviate from kindness? I'm like, you think about the parking attendant, why would they go out of their way to really argue with a person when they can just really just alleviate themselves from that scenario by just saying, you know what, have a good day, because they ultimately have the authority to really just write your ticket off as zeroed out anyway, which what they did to the person that came after them, right? That, you know what, cool, because she was saying, well, maybe they'll get in trouble. Well, then why would they do it for the person afterwards? They didn't have to. There's no argument. There's nothing that was happening there. At least you can argue that the person that was being really rude, they really needed to make sure that the cars kept going, the traffic was ongoing. They didn't want to keep people, get them upset and say, "What's the holdup?" Right? Get them in and out because that costs money. Right, collecting their payment, because then now everyone's gonna be like, "I've been waiting here for 30 minutes. What's going on? I'm not gonna pay anything." Now you have like 20 cars that are saying, "I'm not gonna pay shit." So for me, it's just more of a get yourself out of that scenario. You lost one person that maybe had a fine of 30 bucks,
yeah.
whatever. They were they were disruptive, they were rude, they held up the line. You try to get them out so you can make sure that the other paying customers were able to get out of there as well. So I just wanted to know your thoughts on that.
An
Is
act
that
of
relevant?
kindness, it's act of kindness a couple ways because one, you're realizing the person's not going to be able to make this happen, and you've got all these people behind that are in a rush because they're all lined up and it's all backed up. They got to go. The back and forth can be stopped. You're giving that person a mulligan, and then the line just keeps going. And could it be a slap on the wrist for the person that did it? Yeah. But he did make it to where now all those people that were waiting would want to come back again to use the space to park because
Mm.
they can get in, they can get out. So it's a little higher level thinking. And then that one person thinks they got away with it. But it's going to be a while before that person comes back to use that and then try to use the same excuse because that person will be right there.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, and plus it could be somebody else that's not gonna put up with it, and now it's the other person's job to do it. I mean, at the same time too, like, I can understand where it's like, it's your mess, and if you're just passing it on for that person to come back, you can't control that. At least it's out of your control, right? If that person comes back, they're gonna make somebody else's life hell. That's just what it is. It's just chaos. That's what
Yeah.
happens. You can't control that. You can say, "Well, if this person comes back, I just wanna make sure I'm not gonna treat my friends badly, my coworkers." You have no control over it. They might never show up again. They might be from out of state, out of the country. Never gonna see
Right.
them again. But no, I just figured I was thinking that a conversation like that, I was like, "How does it not really the kind?" I was just like, "I'm upset that you're not understanding where I'm coming from." in the car, right? And then she was just kind of like, well, maybe you can talk about something else, you know? And then the topic she brought up, I was just like, are you sure you're comfortable with me talking about that? Just talking about like, yeah, I don't know how you feel about talking about it, but she was talking about, it's like, well, how about we talk about our sex life on there? And I was like, okay. She's like, we don't have to talk about positions and stuff, but we could talk about, because we operate off of a schedule. All right.
Oh,
So because now we have kids, there's just no way in hell that we can make this work without actually saying, you know what? This is on the schedule. This is happening this day and that day. And at first, I felt like, well, it's not very intimate. It's not compassionate. It kind of sucks because it's not a, oh, hey, I'm really into you kind of thing, right?
right
You are
now.
really hot right now, right? And, like, I guess it kind of helps 'cause I don't have to buy dinner anymore, right? I like, hey, it's Friday, Saturday, right? But I was very like, "Oh, okay, you wanna talk about that?" I had the whole parking attendant thing going on. I'm like, "How does that have to do with kindness?" And then she was just kinda like, "Well, it's the fact that we kinda have to put each other's schedules together to make sure the other one's kind of content and happy with, something happening at least." I'm like, "Alright, well, it goes back to me, I guess." Me not be you're saying I'm not the one who's content, but, I mean, you just kinda have to work with it, right? You take what you can get.
Welcome to the late 30s, early
Yeah,
40s.
yeah.
Um, then you get into the 50s. Then it's, you wanna?
Yeah.
Eh, me, yeah, I was just
Yeah,
gonna do something else
yeah.
too. No, it's not that bad, but
Mhm.
it definitely slows down. I
It
mean,
does.
you're not gonna be like you were when you were 18, although you think you are with your blue pill, blue chew. Hit it, Gabe.
True. Dude, this is a good segue to that, right? Like, come on, Blue Chew.
It's a huge segue. You're
It's a
welcome.
very, very huge issue.
Girthy,
Yeah.
they is the word, I
Girthy? Did you
think.
get girthy or curvy? Because it's both.
Girth. No, it probably won't fix that problem, but it will definitely make you girthy.
It would make you girthy.
Ah, it's right up there with
Potty mouth
moist.
day. That's a popular word.
Everybody loves that word. You could be, well, when you say moist, you also then have to do this.
Yeah.
Because if
It's a
not,
nice moist cake you got going there.
that has two meanings.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Well, I
Here we
mean,
go.
I guess, like, so you're saying that you've had to deal with that too then. You don't have to get into details if you don't want to, but
No,
it's a
it's
normal thing.
yeah, it's like the unwritten schedule. It's not like you have it literally written on the schedule. You
Oh,
just
we
kind of
do.
just know. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't have it in my planner, that's for sure. It's just one of those like, you know, it's the right time of the day. Plus, too, we had kids when we were younger, way younger, and so oh hey, watch the kids for a while. Like, absolutely, thank you. Yeah, you guys go on a date or whatever. It's like yes, we will.
Yeah, we'll
Thank
be
you.
right here.
We had date nights. We had the opportunities to get away, relax, let our hair down, flick it back.
I think, like, for us, I have to make sure that she doesn't forget, and she hasn't. She's really good at that. I think, like, my wife's really good at sticking to a schedule. She promises something or she puts something on a schedule, she's gonna do it. So, I mean,
S-
that's really good. That's great,
So
right?
there's a
It's
trick
my
with
fault.
that.
Sometimes I'm just like, "I'm too tired." She's like, "This is on you. You said you were tired." She's like, "I'm ready to go," you know? So,
What you need to
yeah,
do within that schedule is break it up so that,
yeah,
every can be met and hit or
yeah.
whatever. Okay, take it easy. One, that's a
No,
good idea, but two, that's enough.
yeah, I was surprised she wanted to bring it up. I was like, "Alright." I was like, That's fine with me." I was like I said, I was just gonna talk about parking attendants, but to her, that didn't seem like it had to do with kindness. I'm cool with it. We'll stop here for take a pee pee break.